Screening as part of the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival in July is a film called Energy, a documentary about Damo Suzuki. And it's my great pleasure to speaking to the director of the film, Michelle Highway. Michelle, welcome to Movie Metropolis.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Now, this film was obviously filmed over a number of years, and it's quite a journey, health-wise and music-wise, etc., for Damo. How did it all come about in the first place?
We all knew the same kind of friends, and in the music scene. And I had a friend that passed away. He had cancer, and Damo did this beautiful blog about him. And I then felt it was important to interview Damo about his time spent with the band, etc. And then I found out that Damo was diagnosed, and I knew instantly that it would be a very cathartic healing journey for me to connect with that and go through that journey with Damo. And Damo and I wanted to do something very positive, and provoke the thought of resilience and hopefulness through this journey, because it can be quite a difficult journey for people, and to intertwine and interweave the music scene in that journey as well.
How interesting.
And that's what we did, yeah.
Okay, interesting, very good. So tell me about your filming process, because as I said, this was filmed over a number of years. You would have had to have a camera available. Did you have a crew? How did it all work?
So I'm a self shooter, and I produced and edited the most part of the film as well. So yeah, I just when I found out Damo was ill, I went to Germany about 3 or 4 times when he was having important moments and surgery, etc. And then it was a couple of years break until Damo got on tour again. So then when he came to the UK, I would follow him on tour. And then maybe there was like another big break, and he released his book. And then it felt really beautiful to end the film with the information that you see at the book reading, and the wonderful things that he says at the end that conclude the film with really beautiful insight and resilience.
How interesting. It's interesting to see photos, family, some interviews, and of course music footage, concert footage, and so on. So how easy was it to do all of that?
It was very easy. I had the film gods on my side. No, but everything's kind of organic with Damo and I'm quite an organic filmmaker. But as a documentarian, I feel this feature has a lot of archive and a lot of images, and it's important to peel the layers of a human being and find out all the parts of them, and their family life is so important. So I made sure and had in mind when I would go and visit Damo that I wanted to capture things like that. And he had this wonderful box full of photographic memories. I was able to collect lots of different images from that, which was really wonderful. And then Damo has had such an adventurous life. He had lots of archive, and we have the Damo Suzuki network, which was really brilliant to engage with. I made sure that we had a presence online throughout shooting the film. So we had Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So we managed to get, maybe between all of them, like 5,000 followers between the platforms that were waiting for the film to be made. And towards the end of the film, that was when people came to me and gave me all their videos and photos that I could add to the film and bring it to life. So, yeah.
What a process. Well done on doing all of that. Tell me about negotiating with Damo about the film. Did he allow you to film anything? Did you say he can say anything, etc.? Or how did it all work in terms of negotiation?
Well, we just at the beginning, I told him what my vision was, and he had his vision, and we wanted to produce something really powerful and positive. And I would just turn up with the camera and just be very respectful. They were very open and let me into their home. They didn't have anything where they said, don't look at this or don't look at that. It was just really beautiful and organic. And yeah, they really trusted me and let me, capture their world. So that was awesome.
Well done. And his partner, who's German, I found that so interesting hearing from her, and also the footage that you have in Germany.
Yeah, she's a really wonderful, powerful woman, and it was really lovely to have the connect between Damo and Elka, and the importance and the impact of having a partner when you're going through such a transition, healing process through life. And Elka's a really unique character as well, and she's very intelligent, and I love her quirky outfits and style. She's just a really wonderful woman, and I connected with her, and we're all really good friends. So yeah, it was lovely to have that dynamic as well.
Okay. Another aspect I found interesting is his actual music, and Can is the group, the reunion of Can, etc. Tell me about his music and the influence that it's had internationally.
So I didn't go into the documentary as a krautrock fan, so that's why it's incredibly interesting. All my friends loved Damo and loved Can and krautrock, and I know the mainstream songs, like Vitamin C, etc. I know he's had a massive influence upon lots of bands. Like we had band members of The Fall, and he influenced Marquis Smith and all kinds of different people. But we don't go into that in the film really. But I think it's apparent, and people that watch it who know Damo like understand that universally, I guess. And
Yeah.
if people don't know who Damo is, they don't need to know that, because it's a story, of resilience and hope, and being an outsider artist. It's got all these different themes. So I guess like we do touch upon krautrock music, but it's not like a massive theme within the documentary, I wouldn't say.
And it's
But it's
also,
obviously an incredibly important theme.
of course. And he's also an artist, and I noticed some animation in the film. Putting all that in there is also very interesting.
Yeah, that was the Damo Suzuki network. So Damo was releasing his book, and I helped with that with Paul Woods. It's available on Amazon right now, and he needed to clear some archive photographs that were going into the book, and we couldn't find Juan Barabani, and I found him through my social networks, and then I realized his images were really awesome, and I sent him the little piece about Damo having this vivid dream, getting on this motorbike and searching for food. And I'd actually shot that, but it was a little bit blurred. So from an error, the challenge propelled me to greatness, I guess. Like I thought, oh, how can I tell this story now? So I thought, right, Juan can animate it. And I'm really proud of that animation. It's really wonderful to integrate animation into the film. It's the first time I've done it, and I'll definitely use it going forward in life. So yeah.
Okay. I noticed that you've made a previous film. Is it called Somebody? And yeah, tell me about that, and how that influenced to some extent the style that you adopted in Energy.
Yeah, Mr. Somebody was my first feature documentary I made just after finishing university, about Britain's greatest eccentric, a man that married his dog and lived off Skywater and collected his own urine for 30 years. He had a really unusual character, and he's also an outsider artist that I wanted to explore. And I guess, yeah, small crew, just one person would come with me, and I would shoot. And I guess the formula of Mr. Somebody is very similar to Energy, with the archive and then going back in time, etc. So yeah, I guess doing that, which took 5 years, kind of molded me into that kind of filmmaker and that kind of vision and style. But I guess in life you always progress to something different, or maybe change your mind. But yeah, it was awesome to have animation in the second feature, and I'm excited to do a hybrid documentary next. So always adding new things and learning.
Can you talk about that next documentary?
Well, I've got two concepts in mind right now, but one's a short concept, and I'm wanting to, really experiment on a visual level and use a more high-end camera. So yeah, we've got a few bits of script as well to go in to tell stories, interlaced with, factual interviews. So yeah, I'm excited to explore my experimental side and visual side a little bit more as well.
Ah, how interesting. Now, back to energy. Tell me about your editing process, because that's always the most difficult part in many respects of completing a documentary. How did that work for you, and how did you decide what stayed in the final version?
I think it's important as a filmmaker when you shoot to just go home, capture and log it, and then edit it, which is what I did with the first documentary and then had help with the NFTS film clinic. With the second documentary, because I got a different camera which took MXF files, which was something new back then, it wasn't compatible with Final Cut Pro and I didn't have Adobe at that time. So I waited until I'd captured all of the footage, which was 40 hours.
Mm.
And then with an editor, we put it into Adobe Premiere and captured everything and typed up we transcribed it. And then which took 5 entire weeks and was very stressful. So I'd advise people to just do it as they go, which is what I'll do next time. So then we had a rough assembly, which was 5 hours from that 40 hours. And then over that time at home, I would basically just cut things down, and then it ended up at 71 minutes.
Ah.
And then I brought in Peter Warnock and Raoul Brand, who did the sound design and the mix, and Peter put some really beautiful sound design over the animation to make it more surreal and like more of an impact in the cinema, a more cinematic experience. And yeah, that was really exciting to see and hear at the same time.
How interesting a process, and well done on that. I'll ask this
Thank
tactfully.
you.
Ask this tactfully. Damo is still with us?
Yes, he is. Absolutely. Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
glad. Because then I wanted to ask you, how did he and the others in your film respond to seeing the final version of the film?
I always actually share versions as I'm going along with the subject so that I know that they're happy with it and I can feel at peace as I'm going along. So yeah, they love it. Damo and Elka really love it, and it's a nice memory of the past. I guess it triggered them at first, the sad parts, but they really love it and they're really happy with it. So they're really supportive. So that's positive. And we just did a Q&A in Manchester, and we had Damo and Elka on Zoom with us. So it's just really nice for them to be integrated with the life of the film as it goes through all these different screenings and festivals as well.
Oh, terrific. Well, tell me about the screenings that you've had, because apart from the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival, which will be screening it in July, where else have you screened it, and how have people responded?
Okay, so I premiered in London with Doc and Roll Film Festival, and then they put it on at 8 other cinemas throughout the UK. And after that, I think I screened at the Real Documentary Film Festival, and then Northampton. And I think we're in Copenhagen in September, and then the Melbourne Film Festival is in July. Is that correct?
Yes.
So yeah, I've submitted to a couple of others, and then a few cinemas have approached me to book the film in, so that's really nice. And a few like art centres or local like venues have booked it in that are fans of Damo Suzuki as well, which is really nice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That is nice to hear. And I'm glad to hear Damo is still with us. So he's still continuing concert tours or music and so on?
No, since the pandemic, Damo hasn't done any touring, so we'll just have to see what happens there. So yeah, he's in Germany at the moment, at home, doing other things like art and poetry. We've been asked to collaborate with a poet that came to one of our screenings in Sheffield So something great might come out of that. We might like put the book together and release that between the three of us as a collaboration. So it's really nice, the power of collaboration, and yeah, just how things happen universally out of a passion that you've had to create a film, and then you meet all these awesome people throughout it. So yeah.
Look, excellent to hear all that, Michelle. So, as I mentioned, Energy, a documentary about Damo Suzuki, is screening as part of the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival in July. And we've been speaking to the director of the film, Michelle Highway. Michelle, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. All the best. Bye-bye.